Okay, welcome back. Kevin May from PhocusWire here. Young leaders in the making. So the idea that what we thought we would do here is Phocuswright has its Young Leaders Summit and a program of where it talks and captures young people within the industry that are seen as the kind of the emerging talent. Two of them are here. It's Robert Hoy and Stephanie Lawrence. And we have an old hand, one of the founding members of the Young Leaders Summit here at Phocuswright, Evan Konwiser from American Express, Amex, who we thought we would invite you along for a bit of perspective to react to some of the things that they've got to say. So we'll be here for about 10 minutes or so. But you've been here at the conference obviously all week. We're right at the end of it now, so you've been able to absorb a lot. But I mean, Robert, first, what are some of the things that you've seen in there that have excited you? Some of the conversations that you've heard in the corridors as you've gone through the week?
Yeah, I think it's been really awesome to be here. I think the summit has been really cool to see, a lot of really interesting startups give their pitch. And I think there's a couple really interesting themes there, and that's been great. The networking hall that we're sitting in today, that's been really awesome too. A chance to meet.
What about some of those themes though? Rob?
Yeah, I think it was really cool to see there was a couple interesting themes. I think there was kind of the overall theme around personalization and guides and AI and chatbots, and that was interesting. The few new marketplaces that are trying to make a go at it in travel, and that was interesting. But then there are even, I think it was Affirm and Uplift that are trying to solve maybe more foundational problems around just access to travel and people being able to afford it.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. A few people that we've had on these shows afterwards have said they were really quite taken with that because it does solve a genuine need for people that don't have the opportunity to travel. So, Stephanie, what about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Rob said, and I would say on another note, some of the things I've been excited about have been some of the keynote speakers as well in the afternoon. Just now we had Oliver Heckman talking from Google. I think some of the technology that we're seeing come out of Google as well as other companies about everything from instant translation and how that could change our access in new countries to sort of have a really incredibly local experience that connects cultures in a deeper way. So I'm really excited about those technology developments as well.
You, after 7 years since you were a young leader, you could have become incredibly jaded by the industry. I mean, do you still get excited by some of the things you hear?
Or I could have become incredibly wealthy if I'd known what was going to happen 7 years ago. I think it's actually a little bit vindicating. I see certain things happening now that I think a lot of us have been waiting for a long time. Maybe top of mind for me is tourism activities. Yeah. It feels like it's finally hit to the top line in our industry as maybe a big pillar of the industry. We hear it consistently among the startups now and the large companies alike. And 5 years ago, all the tourism activity startups were presenting and everybody was sort of rolling their eyes at them like, too hard, never going to do it. And now Redeem is winning the Summit and the Catalyst Award, General Catalyst Award. You see Fair Harbor, and look what amazing progress they've made, genuine progress in the industry. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, okay. Robert, first, I mean, actually both of you have worked for Google in the past, or have had stints at Google, but not within the travel part of Google. Robert, what is it about the industry that kind of drew you to it, or is that a bit too of an obvious question?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was really fortunate when I was a kid. I got to travel a little bit with my family, and that always drew me to the industry when I was growing up. It was just something that I really enjoyed doing. I think working in the industry, I kind of just fell into it, to be honest. I was working at Google, and one of my former colleagues from another life was working at Airbnb, and we were just having a chat one casual weekend, and they said there was an opportunity that they thought I'd be a really good fit for. So I think that kind of just happened organically.
But since you've come into the industry, has anything about it surprised you? I mean, is it the complexity? Is it the fact that a lot of it is built on quite old technology and things? Not where you work, arguably, but just generally, there's a lot of things that aren't as perhaps what they seem once you get to know it.
I was surprised by how much of the industry is not online today.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember, maybe it was Glenn yesterday from Priceline who was saying this, but 50% of travel spend is not happening online on the internet, and that really shocked me when I first joined the industry. I kind of figured, everybody's using Expedia, everybody's using Booking.com, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and Stephanie, I mean, many people won't know what Traveling Spoon is, so give us the 20, 30-second pitch, and then tell us why on earth you decided to come into the
do
travel
this.
industry, to do it?
What have I done?
I mean,
sure,
really.
yeah. I founded a company, Traveling Spoon, that connects travelers with local food experiences in people's homes. So imagine, getting to go to Thailand and learn how to grind curries from scratch from a Thai grandmother in her home. And what led me to that, similarly, I came from a different industry, but I just love travel. I've always loved travel. I love, the sense of wonder. I love connecting with new cultures, and I had trouble finding the kinds of experiences I wanted. And I think I naively stumbled into all of the above issues that you mentioned. It's more complex. It's built on more antiquated technology. It's larger and
Do you regret it?
More, absolutely not for a second.
You must have a day every now and again. You just think, what on earth?
I have never had that day. Maybe like a second, but I love what we're building. I love the industry. I love the community of people, and I think there are exciting challenges to solve.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, Evan, you've had a chance to change various things within the industry. You've had a successful startup yourself, and you're doing very well at Amex. I mean, but what would you still like to have the chance to change? And then we'll get it from our newbies as well. Just from an old hand like yourself, what would you like to be able to change?
And I think there's so much opportunity still in the industry, and I love travel too, and I love what it does for our economy. I love what it does for our emotional being and connecting with individuals and seeing the world. I love what the potential it has to do for making the world a better place and a more peaceful place to live in. I think it's one of the unambiguous forces for good in the world that we should join up and work to make it better. And this industry has so many ways we can make it easier, happy, smoother, more cost-effective, and more enriching for both business and leisure traveler alike. And it's yet so challenging to do it, but it keeps us all busy and keeps me energized. And I think as soon as you solve one problem, there's 10 more that crop up.
Right. Robert, we'll come to you on that one first. Think of maybe a technical or a digital-led problem.
I think the personalization problem is a really interesting one. I can go to a number of different travel websites today. They don't really know who I am. I'm not getting a personalized offer for what I'm looking for. And I think the technology around a lot of these buzzwords that I won't name, but I think the technology that's being developed today that will allow that personalization
very good,
in the future.
Everybody else who's been on this has said the name, so thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to congratulate you. The young leaders are coming through with less jargon. That's a positive in my experience. Anyway, please.
I think that's it. Just the idea of getting a product that's personalized to me, being able to make that really seamless and simple. I'm still waiting for that product to be there. And I think when it comes, that'll be really exciting.
Okay, and Stephanie?
All of the above, but I'll try and touch on something new, which is, I guess I think there's a lot that technology still has to do to connect the very disparate players, the travelers leaving from one country and local people on the ground. There are huge issues in, how do we get payments to those people on the ground? There is not a lot of innovation that's accessible to both companies and to individuals on the ground who are suppliers.
Just on that, interestingly, you went for. Because you've obviously identified that there was a problem there. Why didn't you try and tackle that one and instead you went for the consumer-facing problem?
Got to pick something, Kevin. That's a good question. I think in the end, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to pick what excites you. And for us, it was the consumer side of the problem. It was how do we, but obviously we're still dealing with many parts of that issue. There's a lot of infrastructure that we have to think about as a company. But in the end, it was the consumer problem, that challenge of how do you connect travelers with really local, meaningful experiences that excited us the most.
Okay, so let's imagine it's 10 years, 5 years time, and we've got Grandpop young leader here, and you two have graduated into where his shoes are. What do you think we'll be talking about? We'll start with you, Robert.
What will we be talking about?
5 years.
In 5 years. I think we'll probably still be talking about some of the things we're talking about today. One of the themes that's come up in a few of the different sessions is, people were reflecting on Phocuswright 10 years ago and some of the themes that had come up. And many of those themes are still true today. They're still trying to tackle these problems because they're really, really complicated. And the technology behind it, the data behind it, the infrastructure behind it, they're just not easy problems to solve. And so I would expect, Oliver talked about Google Assistant and kind of everything that's happening in that space. I think 5 years from now, we'll still be trying to figure out some of that stuff.
Okay, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think Unfortunately, 5 years is probably actually not that much time, so I think that we will be talking about some of the same things, but my deep-seated hope is that some of the things that are kind of seeming now to be innovative and unique, that there's this realization that Emma was talking about tourism activities, really being a potential huge vertical, that won't so much seem innovative as kind of old hat, and hopefully we'll be looking ahead to sort of the next thing. So I really hope that more of this will just be kind of in the public lexicon and just seen less of as innovative and more of as the norm, the new norm.
And yourself, Evan?
I mean, I agree. It's going to be the same exact things. But, ultimately, we're going to hit a carrying capacity of online in the travel industry. And I think we all look at where the growth is going to come from the online players, and even in the business travel world, what that maximum online is. And ultimately, growth beyond emerging markets will have to come from within the pie, or finding new pillars of the pie like tours and activities. So we're going to get to an area where growth is going to have to come from more interesting, creative places. And ultimately, that will drive a lot of innovation.
That's great. So thank you, Robert, Stephanie and Evan, for spending the time with us. Congratulations on being young leaders. And we'll see you in 7 years' time as we do with Evan every year. So thank you very much.
Thanks.